Right, I would like to welcome Karen Burrows, a legend from Women's Rugby League. Started playing in the 1990s for Redhill, who was one of the founder members actually of the Women's Rugby League, but also toured in 1996 and 1998. But not only toured in 1996, also was captain of the midweek games and also played a few county games. Welcome to the Life in the Lionesses series, Karen.
Thank you.
Tell me a bit more about how did you get involved in rugby league? How old were you and how did you get involved?
I was about 24, 25, and I went to a football tournament and we were playing football, but some of my friends played rugby league and I asked them to play football in this five-a-side tournament. And they said to me, if we play football for you, we want you to come and play rugby. So that's how I ended up doing it. They come to play football, and I went to play rugby. And never looked back.
I'm going to say, can you remember your first game?
Oh, I can't remember my first game. I remember training for a while, and as we all start out, everybody who plays rugby, you start out on wing, don't you? You've got to learn to catch the ball, and obviously everybody you start out on wing. So yeah, no, I can't remember my first game.
Do you remember much about the league then and the games you played and travelling and?
Yeah, we used to travel to Barra all the time. Obviously, that were a trip. Then we used to go to Dudley Hill. We played at Dudley Hill all the time. We went to quite a few sevens when I first started playing. Went to a sevens tournament at Guiseley, and we got to final, and we lost. I think we lost to Guiseley in the final, which were good for us. You know what I mean? And I got player of the tournament. And I beat Lisa Mack because it was between me and her, and I got it. So that was a little bit claim to fame.
Absolutely, because I mean Redhill were up there really, weren't they? Because there was Wakefield, Dudley Hill, and Redhill as sort of teams to beat really in a lot of the finals.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously Wakefield were always. Wakefield and Dudley Hill were the two best teams when Redhill when we come into the league. But we started slowly, but obviously as the years went by, we accumulated some players, and we started to be able to compete with Wakefield. And when we first started, Wakefield used to thrash us 30-40-0, but obviously after that, a few years and one thing and another, and we started to compete, and we used to give them a game, which were okay. I think we only ever beat them once, and I kicked the winning drop goal. I think it was 11-10. So
that was in a final, wasn't it?
No. Every time we got to a final, we always lost. We played the final once against Wakefield at Batley, and we lost that. And then we played another final against them at Keighley, and my dad lived at Scarborough, and he travelled all the way all over from Scarborough to Keighley to watch us. And obviously we lost that, but they were good times. You enjoy them when you get to a final, win or lose. It's about the day and about afterwards and having a drink and one thing and another. So it was good to get to some finals.
Definitely.
I remember when we played at Batley, Steve-O coming to me in the bar and saying, bye, he says, you're a cracking player, he says, and with them orange boots on it. He made a little bit of joke about me. I had some yellow boots. But yeah, Steve-O come and had a little chat with me in bar. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah. And I always, it was fierce rivalry between Redhill and Wakefield as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I always remember playing, you came to Boulevard and played the Hull Vixens. And I always remember it was quite a close game, but you won't remember me tackling. But I thought I'd done the best rear tackle ever, only for you to pass the ball off and leave me on the floor with my face in the dirt.
Oh well, Hull wasn't the best stomping ground for me. I broke my collarbone when I played Hull, and then ended up that were in '98 because it was same year we were going to New Zealand, and I didn't think I'd go because I broke my collarbone. And then the next time when I went to Hull, I ended up at Hull Rolling Infirmary again. I thought I broke my ankle, but it was just it was my ligaments. So Hull was funny enough, Hull wasn't the ground that I sort of enjoyed doing it. Something always seemed to happen, but yeah, I snapped my collarbone there.
Yeah. Oh dear. So you were playing and you did a bit of county as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
We played down the lane. We played at which is Castleford, and we played at St Helens. I can't think else where else we played. Yeah, I played quite a bit of county. Yeah. I had what did they call her who played for Wakefield outside of me? Nobody could tackle her or catch the ball, so I didn't see the ball much really. Oh dear.
Oh dear. So you were. Can you remember you getting called up for Great Britain then for what you had to do and those sort of things?
I did, yeah. We went over towards Wigan that way, and that day there were Phil Clark, and then there were some other people. I can't remember. I obviously remember Phil Clark because obviously everybody remembers Phil, don't we? There were Phil Clark and some other like men coaches and one thing like that, and we were all in groups and teams, and we had to play little miniature games, and obviously how you depended on when you were playing whether you got picked or not. So obviously I must have done all right because I obviously got picked. So that were very good.
So can you remember what you had to do then in order? So you got picked, so you got selected for, there was a train-on squad, wasn't there, before you actually got into the team? Can you remember what you needed to do in order to get on tour?
I remember that Wigan where we got picked and then we had a train-on squad, you're right. I remember once going over to Rochdale, but I think we were already in the squad then. No, once I've got by 50, I can't remember everything. Honestly.
So did you have to do any fundraising and everything to get yourself to Australia then?
Yes, we had each player had £1,000 to raise, and I was quite lucky because everybody were doing race nights and charity events and trying to raise the money. But I worked for Britvic Soft Drinks, and my boss, my manager, were quite he liked rugby, and he used to come and watch me play, and he got me the sponsorship both times, 96 and 98, and the Britvic paid the £1,000 the sponsorship, and also give me a month off.
Wow.
A month off with pay. So I couldn't wish for any more. Although when I went to New Zealand, because I broke my collarbone that year, they sponsored me. I think I don't know if I had to use some holidays or whatever, because I'd had a good few months off because I broke my collarbone. So there was something different about that. But I mean, I couldn't complain. I didn't have to do any thing. So really, I was one of the fortunate ones. Because all the other girls, and even in my team, Jill then worked at Burberry's, Jill Adams and Sharon, and then they were doing things to raise their money. And I look at myself as being quite fortunate, really.
Yeah, absolutely, because they did.
In 1996, £1,000, it was a lot of money then.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a lot of bucket collections, weren't there? And
yes, definitely.
those sort of things.
yeah.
Can you remember much about doing any more fitness training and things, or were you already quite fit?
Well, no, not really. I wouldn't say I was at fittest. I got fitter by doing it. Yeah, we had to do the bleep test. We went to Carnegie at Leeds one at times, and we did a bleep test. I'd probably say I did all right at bleep test, but I did get fitter. I went out and did some running and jogging and one thing and another, and you had to put a little bit more effort in, which I did for definite. Bleep test, I don't know why it didn't suit me. I could run all day. Once you put me on pitch and give me a ball, and I never seemed to lag or whatever. I were all right, but bleep test, right? But you're either good at it or you're not. I wasn't brilliant. But the running side, I started going running quite a bit, and I got quite fit. I wasn't too bad.
So you got your call up. So you got your call up to the squad. What did your family think?
Oh, my mum was over the moon. I can't remember if my dad was living in Scarborough by then. I think he might have been. moved about a bit. But yeah, family. I remember, I think when we set off on that morning at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, we went really quite early at morning, I think. Something like that. And my mum got off because I don't know if I were living at home then. Anyway, but my mum come to see me off anyway. So yeah, they were excited, yeah.
Yeah. So had you been to Australia before or?
No.
So never. What was it like?
Oh, brilliant. I've been back since, because when I went with the girls, I decided I really, really liked Australia. I went to New Zealand. When you talk to people, a lot of them prefer New Zealand, but I was opposite. I loved Australia. So me and Caroline went in 2006. We went for a full month. We did a bit of touring because I liked Australia that much. I thought it was a lovely place and the people are nice and friendly and everything. And yeah, so we went for an holiday for a month, and I loved it. So
yeah. So can you remember much about the 1996 tour, about training or any of the games or anything stick out in your mind?
Yeah, I remember when we played in the second test. Yeah, I think it was second test. I was a sub, and I don't know if it was 10-all, it was something like that. I can't remember anyway. We were drawing, and I come on and I remember I said to Shelley from scum, pass me the ball on blind side. So Shelley passed me the ball and I scored. So I scored winning try. So yeah, I'm quite happy about that.
Oh,
I think that was in the second test, I think, when I scored the winning try. So yeah, so that was a good feeling.
Yeah, and what was it like being captain for your team, for your country?
Yeah, just sends tingles down your spine, and you just can't believe it. Because obviously, when I just went as a player, but I know Brenda and Lisa would be captain, one of them. And obviously, when I was told that I was going to be midweek captain, yeah, it's well. Like you say, just proud, isn't it? You just can't imagine it.
Yeah. It's such an honour, isn't it?
And it is, yeah, such an honour, yeah.
Yeah, it gives you goosebumps thinking about it, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I can't agree more.
Yeah. So you beat the Australians. You're actually, I don't know if you know this, but you're the last any UK team or England team to beat the Australians in a 3-test series. And come home with the Ashes. You're in Great Britain, women are the last women team to actually do that. So what was it like sort of beating the Australians 2-1 on their soil?
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, it might have been first test then, or did they win last test? I thought when we went to Australia, was it 2-1? I thought we beat them 3-0.
No, it's 2-1. Yeah.
All right.
You won 6 of your 7.
Yeah, we did. We won 6 at 7, correct. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And I played in all 7.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. I do believe I played in all 7. Some of them I might have been a sub and I come on. But yeah, I definitely played in all 7. And there wasn't that many of us that actually played in all 7. But I definitely played. So I must have been fitter than I thought, because I definitely think I played in all 7. Yeah, you're right, we did, because we didn't lose a midweek game.
No.
Yeah, we're good, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, you beat them quite convincingly.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So you came home with the trophy, or the shield. It was a shield, which, by the way, we can't find. So what was it like when you arrived home? What were people saying about you?
I'll tell you what I did. It's amazing when you start talking about rugby. And I've been trying to think of things, what I've done, and one thing and another as well, which thingy. I went to do. Gillian had Jill Adams had a friend who worked at BBC at Leeds, so they got in contact with me, and I went and did a radio interview when we come back, when we won. I did a radio interview, and Crooksy were there. Funny enough, Lee Crooks was sat there, and ever since then, now when he sees him, because he lives in Cass, Crooksy always says to me, "Oh, hello, Karen," you know what I mean? So since that day, when I went to do that interview, obviously, when I see him, he always says hello, Karen. So he remembers me from doing that interview, which were good. And then when we come home, that were brilliant. We went to London, as somebody told you about the trip, what we went to London, we had a fantastic time there. You could stay overnight or go down on bus and then come back same day. We went to like a sports event, and Sue Barker hosted the sports event, and we got recognised. We didn't win anything, but we still got recognised, and we were there with lots of stars and one thing and another and things like that. That golfer, she were there. She won something when we were there. But yeah, that was fantastic. We had a lovely meal. You got free champagne. You felt like a little bit of a celebrity, really. So yeah, I remember that going to London in a nice posh hotel. Yeah, they were lovely, very nice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you'd just beaten the Australians, so you deserved it, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, yeah. So, can you remember? So, you'd done the Australian tour, really enjoyed it. What happened then for 1998? Tell us a bit more about training and preparing for that next tour to New Zealand.
Yeah, we still were playing for Red Hill, and obviously we were still playing rugby. Then they decided that we'll go to New Zealand in 98, which were only 2 years after. And obviously it's a similar process that you had to somebody watch you and we'll see whether you get picked and one thing and another, put a lot more training in, a lot more running. We played, I think, we didn't play, I'm sure it was that, I remember playing at Dorothy, at Barnsley. We played quite a few midweek friendly matches, and I'm sure them friendly matches, I can't remember if they were Australia or when we went to New Zealand. I'm sure Jackie were in charge when we were playing them midweek, friendly games.
Yeah, Maoris. You played the Maoris and
yeah, no, not that. Well, before the training.
Oh, the Wildcats.
Yeah, we played over here, didn't we? But I can't remember if that was New Zealand or Australia.
Ah, right, okay.
Because we played at OKR ground, we played one at Barnsley, and we played one somewhere else. Can't think where it was. We're out Rochdale where we played some like friendlies, which helped us obviously gel together because everything we're everybody's from different clubs and one thing or another, so that were helping you to gel together. And then obviously, as I mentioned to you before, when I was playing for Red Hill in the same year as we were going to, as I've been picked, I didn't think I'd end up going to New Zealand because I broke my collarbone. I snapped it in half, so it was quite bad. So it wasn't looking good, me going. But actually, Jackie helped, and she got me when it started to wheel and one thing and another. I went down to Castleford Tigers. Jackie knew the physio there and got me, so I had to go down there and do a lot of and I hated it, what they call it, Aunt Roy machine, to strengthen me, to get me shoulder back up to a thing. Once you break your collarbone, it's a little bit scary. You think, God, next time you're going to tackle, will it hold? But it did. And I ended up going, but I had to put quite a bit of more hard work into it. You know what I mean? Keep going for physio down there with that gentleman at the cast physio. But it helps, and obviously I ended up going. So, which was good.
Yeah. So, can you remember much about going to New Zealand then, and about travelling around in any of the games?
Yeah. I remember playing Maoris. I remember Tracy Pincher. Tracy Pincher. She didn't go to 96 tour, but Tracy come in 98 tour. She got in the team. And bless her, she never played after that because she played the first game and her ankle she went over on it, and she never played after that. She obviously played for Red Hill after that, but obviously on tour. So I remember that happening at Maori then. So that was a bit disappointing. And then Jill, she ended up coming home on crutches as Red Hill team were. We were getting battered and bruised. And my first game, I think it was the first test, and one of them smacked me in the mouth, and I mean smacked me in the mouth. I've been in before, but I looked like it was really bad. My bottom lip, it swelled up, and it was really, it was quite big. So yeah, they were a bit. How can I say? They were a bit tough with the Maoris.
Physical, weren't they?
Yeah,
it was a bit of a wake-up call, wasn't it?
It was, definitely. I mean, some of them, how fast they run and how big they were. Even when they were big, they still run faster than us. I mean, it was a bit of a wake-up call from Australia going there and winning, and then going to New Zealand. Yeah, obviously they were a little bit different caliber, but they've been playing the game a lot longer than us, and they played, a lot of their players had like they played rugby league and rugby union, and yeah, they were just a little bit too good for us. I'd like to see us play them now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Obviously, I've never seen a New Zealand team, but to me, they were exceptional. Very good.
Yeah. Well, they won most of the competitions through up to 2003. I think things changed a bit when Australia picked up the pace 2008 onwards, but they were unbeatable with the New Zealand women, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty awesome team.
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, we thought we got a good team, but yeah, they were amazing. I didn't play as much in New Zealand as I'd like, but I'd been injured and just to go, and I didn't captain thingy in England, in New Zealand, but I still got on tour. That was the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and did 2 great tours. So when you sort of look back, what do you think the most challenging thing about tour about being involved in Great Britain was?
I don't think there were anything challenging. Everything was, it's, how can I say it? Like you said, you're proud to represent your country. I wouldn't say that there were anything really challenging. Flight, obviously, all that way. Although when we arrived in Australia, we got the first day off, and then you start training one thing another. But I won't say that anything was challenging. You know what I mean? It was an honour to play for your country, and like you say, we got a month off of work. Well, when you're used to working and you get a month off of work, I wouldn't say that anything was challenging really. I enjoyed every bit in Australia. I thought I enjoyed Australia more than I did New Zealand, but obviously with different circumstances. But
Yeah.
I was still glad that I went, even in '98. You know what I mean? It's just an honour. So to me, I don't think there were anything challenging.
Yeah. So when you reflect, what do you think of your achievements?
Yeah, I think when you look back, and you just told me that obviously we're the only team to go to Australia and actually beat them, it doesn't sink in till you get a little bit older. And you just said that to me, because obviously you don't see much of the women's game. I know there's the Super League, but you don't. I've seen the England women play Australia and obviously lose, and one thing and another, and they're quite good at the Australians. So obviously for us to go there and obviously win, it's an achievement. I mean, the men don't often win in Australia, so for us to do that, and the first time we'd gone, it were quite an achievement, really.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's phenomenal, actually. Absolutely phenomenal. And when you look now, you said you haven't really watched much of the Rugby League now, but this World Cup, the Women's World Cup coming up, is the first time they're going to be paid similar to men, well, the same as men. So when you look at that, what do you think you would say to the next generation of Rugby League players?
Yeah, you've just got to train hard, be dedicated, and actually there is a career now in Rugby League, a little bit similar to football. I mean, come on, look at the football, what heights it's achieved. And if England can do that without young girls and aspire and beat Australia and New Zealand, because I do think that the more that you win, obviously the more it gets everybody buzzing, you know what I mean? And everybody wants to watch when you're winning. Nobody wants to watch you losing. And I do think that obviously if we can actually get a team to compete with New Zealand and Australia and win a little bit more. I watched some of the Super League the games, especially when Castleford were doing well. and they kept getting to finals and one thing or other. But then players go to somebody else and whatever, and now they're not doing so well. And St Helens are the team to beat at minute, and then Leeds have got a girl from Leeds, haven't they? And she seems to be a bit of a from Australia, and she seems to be a bit of a superstar. And there's a little bit of a gap, you know what I mean? It's a bit like football, really. The St Helens, who is it? St Helens, Leeds, probably the top two teams. And I think until we get a few more interested and especially around here now, Featherstone has started to sort of come good. I do follow it and see who's doing well and who's not, like, and I obviously can see states that they're doing well. But I do think that we need to we need more teams, not just two. The top, the thing. We need to be more teams involved, because the more teams that are good, the better the competition. That makes the better for us then, that we've got a more bigger pool to pull from. Whereas we'll only have a few from St Helens and a few from Leeds and one thing and another.
Yeah.
But I do see in schools that they seem to be getting, you know what I mean? And Castleford's a good area. We've got Lock Lane and one thing and another, and we're quite good with that. So
it's quite cool to be a rugby league player if you're a girl in Castleford, I'm told.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It is, yeah. It's everybody wants their autographs now, you know what I mean? Nobody wanted our autographs when we were playing. You just played rugby for Red Hill and that was it. Whereas now, you know, they're on the telly, they're a little bit of celebrities. And yeah, it's good. I just think it's the last few years it's got better. But I just think last couple of years it seems to just stood still a little bit. It just needs to, and hopefully this World Cup, if we do well, it'll get more crowds there. People will want to go watch. There's nothing that going to watch your team winning when you're going and you're losing. It's not disheartening because it's England, but the thing is it will draw more crowds.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone likes a winning team, don't they?
They do, yes.
They do. They do. Karen, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm loving doing this project because I'm
you
meeting
get to
people.
Talk to everybody again.
I get to talk to everyone who I haven't seen for ages. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your memories, and I look forward to sort of seeing you out and about in the rugby league world and encouraging the young people to take it up and get more involved.
All right, brilliant. Thank you.